Hey y'all, I'm Adina and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a reading on Takeoff. I've been wanting to do this since his death happened, but I don't like to read the deceased too soon. I know that they say you're supposed to wait a year after the person has passed away before you read them. However, I'm going to do it today. So I guess I'm just going to jump right into it because I don't want to ramble on too much with you guys. So I'm just going to say a quick little prayer and then I'm going to get right into this reading. So typically I like to have my bell when I am reading for the dead, but hold on guys, I'm gonna get my bell. All right, got my bell and I'm just going to light a little bit of this pillow stick. For the dead. I wasn't sure if I was going to need to do all of this, but when I started praying, I felt the need to. All right. All right. So with that being said, take off. Take off, take off, take off. There we are. All right. All right, I am going to read Takeoff. I would like to read the energy surrounding your death. I would like to know what happened to you the night that you passed away and the circumstances surrounding them. All right, I hear the industry is cutthroat, man. It's the first thing I heard. And I think that night there was a lot going on. I see a lot of people. I see a lot of movement. I see Takeoff kind of chilling. Not like in my mind, if I can see a crowd of people and movement, I can see a Takeoff kind of standing there to himself, not really lending to the energy of chaos in the environment. I like to think that he was the more laid back. Obviously, I think most people know that about him. Let me just say before I also really get started into this, that this reading is completely for entertainment purposes. It's not based in any science, any literal science or any facts or anything. I was not there the night of his passing. I do not know anyone personally involved in this. I am merely just someone reading cards with pictures on them using their imagination. So take this for entertainment purposes. Everything that I say in here in this reading and everyone that I speak of is alleged. Not based in any truth, not based in any science. I would also like to say that I do not I've never really listened to the Migos music. I feel like it was a little bit after my time in music. So I'm not familiar with their music. And I just like to put that out there. I'm not a fan of these people, not in a negative way, but like I just am not familiar with them. But I am familiar with their music. I'm not a listener to it regularly. So I get that Takeoff was a more laid back one. It's most specifically this night. Like I mentioned, I can see a sea of people and a sea of movement and a sea of just movement, energy. But I can also see Takeoff being in the midst of this sea of movement and energy, kind of with his hands folded, watching things around him, but not really lending to the frenetic or the chaotic energy of the environment that he was in. I see him kind of just like being chill and not low key, because he's obviously known in that room, but more low key than other people, contemplative, almost observant. All right. All right. Well, this card is a person that is lying still on a tomb, one sword underneath him, 3 swords above him. I would like to say that Takeoff's passing was a result of some type of alleged involvement. I don't want to say involvement. I would just like to say, because the first thing out of my mind was the industry is cutthroat, man. It's the first thing I heard after I rang my bell. The industry is cutthroat, man. And I would like to think that these 3 swords up here are Migos. Swords, a group member of 3, and swords are communicative card. All of them are rappers. So each of this is the Migos. This will be Takeoff. This will be his sword. No longer able to be used. He's laying on top of it. So this is Takeoff. And I would like to say that his death was allegedly, it had something to do with their group. It has something to do with their group. And either the politics surrounding the group, or I would like to say the industry politics surrounding the group, and some personal, and to be honest, now that I'm speaking more, I feel like personal conflicts within the group were a result of industry conflicts within and surrounding the group. So I would like to think that their fallout had to do with group business, and Takeoff's death had to do allegedly with group business. On the bottom, look, conflict. Conflict within the group. Conflict about the group, conflict within the group, industry, politics surrounding the group. They have been falling out and arguing about how the group was supposed to move on. How the group was supposed to move forward after Okay, well, okay, so I hate doing celebrity readings or anything that has to do with celebrities because of the things that I see. I don't necessarily want to get involved with stan or fan culture. However, I'll just say what I see. Um, After a significant relationship evolved within the group, allegedly the relationship between Offset and Cardi B, and I say that because I see a couple here. I see a King of Pentacles in reverse and a Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and then I see this High Priestess. So there was a lot of arguing around how the group was going to move forward. I believe once Offset and Cardi B got into a relationship, there was, and this High Priestess in the middle of them gives me, and because they're showing up as pentacles, I get the idea that their relationship was an arrangement of some sort. It had, not saying that it is an arrangement now, because I do believe that there is genuine energy in their relationship now. I believe that it got together. Its foundation was manufactured for business and financial purposes, but it's one of those kind of PR relationships that or industry relationships that became serious, that made sense. It didn't just make sense for the business aspect of it, but it also made sense with them. And I think that there was a purpose for putting them together. I think that the industry or the label or whomever Offset and Cardi B work with, separate from whoever works with the Migos group, had intentions for Cardi B and Offset after Migos. And I think that created some kind of conflict that they weren't able to get past. Six of Swords in reverse. They weren't able to get past that conflict. And I feel like it made, this was a very sudden business arrangement contract. I don't think that the Migos as a group, or the two remaining Migos, were aware of the plan. I think that the relationship between Offset and Cardi B, the marriage between them, the seriousness of it caught the group off guard. And it made them kind of feel like, what are you doing? You know, you get married to this girl, da 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 da. I don't think they were ever able to get past that and the implications of what it meant for their group. And I think that they could kind of see, or they started, that's when they started keeping their distance from Offset. Once he got into this arranged relationship with Cardi B and married her and started taking it serious, they started keeping their distance then. And I believe it's because it kind of looked like he was, you know, plotting and planning to leave the group even back then and become this duo with his wife. That's all on the bottom of the deck. This just flew out. Let me see. Okay. They felt like he was leaving the group because of his wife. That he was making plans to move, making plans to become a power couple situation with Cardi, moving away from the group to do his thing with his wife. That just flew out as I'm going to continue to look into This Four of Swords. High Priestess reverse. Queen of Pentacles upright this time. Six of Swords. Who's an air sign? Who's an air sign? I don't know if any of the guys in the group are an air sign, but okay. All right. Okay, there's Cardi. I see looking over a contract a while ago and trying to get out of a bad deal. I see Cardi here. I see losing money. Okay, so I don't know if Cardi B and the Migos were ever at the same label. I believe that they have dealings with the same label, QC. I don't know what Cardi's affiliation with them was, but I feel like there was some type of business dealings with all of them in the past, but Cardi B left that arrangement after looking at a contract and realizing that she wasn't getting a fair amount of money. So she left. Maybe Cardi B was dealing with them. Maybe she was signed to them, did a deal with them, was gonna do a deal with them, and realized that there was something not good with the contract. And so she left. Whether she was going to sign like a full deal with them or not, maybe she had just had like a little trial period deal. We'll do a couple of songs, see how it goes, and then I'll possibly sign with you. I think this was like in the beginning of her career. But then she decided to go with someone else. I believe she's with Atlantic. I believe that the Migos also looked at their contracts around the same time that happened. Maybe because of Cardi. Maybe it was Cardi and Offset who looked at the contracts and saw that something wasn't right. And then that's when Cardi and Offset decided to go and try to create their own situation with Atlantic. And I think that maybe the problem came when Atlantic decided, okay, we'll put you guys together since you happen to like each other, make you a power couple, and then we'll see if we can get Offset out of his contract with QC, bring him over to Atlantic so we can start doing things for Cardi B and Offset, rather Offset in the group. And I believe that the remaining Migos had an issue with that. I think that they liked what they were doing. They liked the direction that their career was going in. They liked where they stood at the label that they were at. So either they didn't want to try to leave their label, even though Offset wanted to try to leave the label, or they couldn't get a group situation at another label. I think that the other label, maybe Atlantic, had plans for Cardi B, and we'll take Offset. You know, we can make something out of that, but we don't want all three of them together. I don't know which one of those scenarios, but it was either the other Migos didn't want to move over to wherever Offset and Cardi were going, or they wouldn't have minded, but wherever Cardi B and Offset were going, didn't want to take all three. But they could do something with Cardi B and Offset as a couple. I keep seeing the group reviewing a contract, negotiating, things went left, a fight. I see some very, 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 very negative energy surrounding their situation at QC. I see a fight happening. I see somebody wanting to stay away afterwards. I see a fight happening because of a reprioritization of the group. I saw the Two of Pentacles. So there was an issue with prioritization over at the Migos label. I see somebody being paranoid with that Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay. All right, Takeoff. So what happened? What happened to you? So I hear the group was never the same after that shit went down. So something definitely happened. I believe of a physical altercation. It got really, 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 really rowdy. I see security guards involved, like different teams, different entourages, people getting involved, people having to be separated and broken up. But I see this happening like in a conference room or something like that. This wasn't outside. So I don't think that this was the night that Takeoff was killed. I think that they had already had some kind of big blow up. I don't know if it was between just the Migos or the Migos and other people, but it was big. It involved separate people's crews and entourages, security guards. People had to be split up. But I see this happening in a room of some sort, like a conference room, a boardroom. But things weren't the same after this fight. What happened to you, Takeoff, for you to have lost your life? All right. Moon reversed. I would like to convey what it is I see, but there was a plot, a plan in place that night. When I close my eyes, I see the same scenario that I see when I started the reading. A crowd, a group of people, and Takeoff being in the middle of the crowd, kind of hands down in front of him crossed, low-key, shades on, dreads pulled back, kind of just observing the room. Everybody else is moving around, everybody else is talking, everybody else is doing something. And Takeoff was kind of just like a low-key, calm energy. But I see, and this is just in my mind, I see a dark energy, a dark figure, like a shadow, moving around the perimeter of the crowd, as if a person was lurking, a person that was there, low-key, lurking. A person watching, waiting, as if they had an agenda to, at the right moment, kick off chaos in the crowd in order to do the assassination. I say assassination because that's the word that came out. Assassination. So this was planned for that night. There's a 6 of Swords on the bottom, so somebody wanted to leave. Somebody intuitively felt that they should have left. I say that because right behind it is the High Priestess in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, which is trusting your own knowledge and guidance versus somebody else's. Someone knew, felt that they should have left. Somebody felt like something wasn't right. Somebody knew that something wasn't right and either thought about leaving, felt like leaving, or said that they were ready to go. And I want to say that that person was Takeoff, just because I see him being very not like the energy of everybody else in the room who was caught up in the moment, caught up in the vibe, other than that dark shadowy figure I see moving around the perimeter. I think it was Takeoff who intuitively knew that they shouldn't have been there, or that they should have already left. I don't think he was feeling the vibes in the room that night or feeling like being there. Hierophant reverse, chaos broke out, arguing. 4 of Swords, the Star. Hold on, guys. I see I see with my third eye. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Let me ring my bell one more time. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. A girl, a woman, justice in reverse. There was a woman there who was a part of the plan, or who saw no. There was a woman here who was a part of the plan as well. There was a woman there who was close to Takeoff, who was aware of the other person there, and she had eyes on the person who was the shooter. She had eyes on the person who was the shooter. She had eyes on Takeoff, and she was communicating in some way, signaling in some way, communicating in some way with both parties. So I don't know if there was a girl in their entourage that night who was there with Quavo and Takeoff, but she was like a plant, a setup girl. I don't know if it was a girl that Takeoff was seeing. I would like to say it was a girl who one of the guys in the group was dealing with, at least that night. Maybe not a girlfriend, but somebody that they were there with. Maybe just like somebody they kept around to have fun with. But she was with the guys, maybe Takeoff. And this is also her. The Devil, the Magician in reverse, Justice in reverse, this Queen of Wands in reverse. She was in a relationship with someone, either the guy who did it or one of the guys in the group. But she was close to Takeoff. But she was also like looking around, signaling for, watching for the guy making his rounds, waiting for the opportunity to assassinate Takeoff. Same card. And I want to say that Takeoff, Quavo, they had no idea that this was a setup. They were invited to wherever they were. They were invited there I don't know who invited them there, but it was kind of like a, yeah, let's stop by here. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We can make some money, blah, blah, blah. I believe that they said it was a dice game. Whatever it was, whatever they were supposed to do there, that was just the ploy to get them there. And whose protection? Somebody's security. Somebody's security purposely wasn't there. Somebody's security left. And I believe that this also was by design. Somebody that should have been there to defend them purposely wasn't. They moved out of the way, left, or just weren't there in order for whomever was the target of this to be unprotected, left vulnerable. This was a very elaborate plan orchestrated by somebody with some money. There was a hit. This star card, though. What is this star card here? Okay, all right. I don't think anyone is in jail because of this. But I don't even know if Takeoff was the intended target. All right, Takeoff. Let me mix these cards up so that I can hear you better. All right. Let me ask some questions now. Takeoff, were you the intended target that night? Takeoff, were you the intended target the night that you were killed? Were you the one that was supposed to be killed? The Moon card. And there are two animate objects on these cards. One is Quavo, one is Takeoff. And then there's a crab in the water. I wonder who Quavo and Quavo and Takeoff felt like was a crab. There is a crab coming towards the two of them. While they're howling at the moon, behind them, a crab is coming. And here is Takeoff again. The Moon. Number 18. 1 and 8 is 2. I'm sorry. 1 and 8 is not 2. 1 and 8 is 9. 1 and 8 is 9. Is it? No. Let me see. I wanted to say at first that it was meant for the both of them to be shot. However, I don't think so. And I have an Empress here. And I have a Hangman. All right. I'm just going to say it. Somebody had to go in order for... This was a necessary sacrifice. I don't want to say it in terms of like what the world thinks it is. When you mention sacrifice, they think Illuminati, they think it's conspiracy theories. And there's an element of truth to that, but not in the way, you know, the woke social media crowd believes it to be. There are many, 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 many reasons for a person to be taken out other than just the esoteric, because that is an element of it, but it feeds so many different purposes. And I do see a necessary sacrifice on behalf of an Empress here with the Hangman here, which is also like a sacrifice card because this person is suspended from a tree, like a tree that you would be hanged from, but they're willingly suspended. One of the terms associated with the Hangman is sacrifice. And then I have the Two of Cups in reverse here. Another element of relationship. On the bottom, the Three of Pentacles, the Magician, the Death reverse. If the group wouldn't agree on contractual terms so that Offset and Cardi B could go off and do business together and allow Atlantic to benefit from it the way they need to without them having to go through whomever Offset was signed to, and the group can't agree on this without going to court and Offset possibly losing in court because of being bound by a contract, that can only happen if the three of them are no longer a group and one of them is dead. So if one of the Migos is dead, they're not the Migos anymore, meaning their contract would be null and void. Meaning now, Offset is free to go off and do what he wanted to do with his wife and what his wife's team wanted to do without having to split money, give money that their new team doesn't want to split or give with whomever they would have had to, had they still had the same setup that they had before one of the Migos was killed. So whatever, this was orchestrated because the three of them couldn't come to an agreement about how they wanted to move separately. So a girl that they knew was sent in to help set it up. I believe when it first came out, there were one or two girls who came and spoke out about what really happened that night. One of those girls is directly involved in setting it up. One of those girls one of those girls that was supposed to be with them romantically that night. I really think it was Takeoff. A girl that was there for him, or a girl that was there for Quavo, or the both of them. She was in their entourage that night. Maybe like a girl that they keep around to have fun with later on, like a fun girl for the crew. And I believe that like they have these kind of girls in the industry because celebrity men need access to girls that they don't necessarily have to filter through. They don't have to go to a town and meet a girl and bring her back with them, and they don't have her checked out to see if she'll rob them. Like, they need industry approved girls around them. So a lot of girls, I feel like the industry has girls that they keep around celebrities, you know, for entertainment purposes that are already industry vetted. It was one of these girls that had been around them before for the purpose of providing fun entertainment to the group members. She was with them that night, and she was supposed to help set it up. All right, I'm gonna try to wrap this up because all right, Takeoff, who was responsible for having you killed? Who orchestrated this? Temperance flipped over. Takeoff, who orchestrated the circumstances for you getting killed that night, whether you were the intended target or not? I know one of you boys were, and it happened to be you. Who orchestrated this? Who wanted you guys dead? Who wanted you or the both of you dead? Who did this? Who is responsible for this? Who ordered the hit? Five of Wands reversed. Ace of Swords. The Emperor in reversed. I would like to say two Kings on the bottom. Five of Pentacles reversed, recouping money. Ten of Swords, killed. I would like to say that this was orchestrated by someone who stood to lose money from the group. If whatever the group was fighting about with each other couldn't be peaceably resolved, no more fighting, communication, coming to a peaceful agreement, this person stood to lose money and needed, this person stood to lose money. This Emperor in reverse stood to lose money and control and power, which is why he's in the reverse. Who is this Emperor? Temperance in reverse. Here we are again. Temperance flew out before. Hierophant reverse. Ten of Swords. The World in reverse. Whoever signed the Migos to their contract is allegedly responsible for the holdup. And honestly, I think now with one Migos dead, I don't know if the contract is null and void now or if they're kind of locked in legally now. Whoever signed the Migos, I don't know if he had life insurance policy on them, but I think that if they came to I don't know if they were suing their label because of their contract. But one of the Migos had to go so that they couldn't move forward with suing their label head because of their contract. One or all of them. So that they couldn't come to an agreement. They couldn't resolve their issues, and then someone would be free to move forward and do their own thing, I believe, with their wife. Offset. I want to say that this is Offset, this King of Wands in reverse, because he's a Sagittarius, I believe. Cardi B allegedly there is some worry here. There is some worry here about ever being able to why do I see her in her fear of releasing music? Does Cardi B have any ties to the label that the Migos was with? I see fear about putting out an album or new music. I don't know if they have been planning on doing a joint album together and if that would or wouldn't work because of the situation that Offset is in now legally, which is why he can't release music. Maybe that's what this is. I see that, I don't know why this is coming up in here, but I see Cardi B. I don't know if she's in a similar situation as them, but there's another fear about her releasing music, and it's surrounding money. I think that the label was not happy, or she was having these pregnancies that the label didn't intend or didn't plan for. I think both of them are in trouble. Offset can't release music because of whatever situation he's tied up in with the Migos. They were already tied up in some legal battles. And then Takeoff being killed, I don't know if that helped or made their legal situation worse. But it was the reason that Takeoff was killed. Their legal situation, and whomever signed them is allegedly responsible for Takeoff's death, either indirectly or directly. But for some reason, I saw Cardi B also in here because Takeoff can't release music. Cardi B is afraid to release music. And I don't necessarily believe that it's just because she's afraid of the reception. It's her not wanting to be involved in this industry anymore, especially after seeing the behind the scenes of what was going on with Takeoff, and then how it took his life. Seeing the situation with the Migos scare her, because they know allegedly that shady business dealings, the business dealings and the politics behind them got Takeoff killed. And I don't know if Cardi B also was doing business with their label head as well, but Cardi B owes money as well. The pregnancies came as unexpectedly from her label heads, and it set them back from being able to recoup money. And I think that she's been trying to release certain things to see how people would receive it, to see if releasing a full album would be enough to recoup some of the costs that the label spent making her successful the first go around. And I don't believe that it has been successful enough for them to feel like putting more money into her is worth it. However, they still need their money, and sending her over to Thailand was a test run to see if they could test putting her out on tour as well, to see how it would be received, because I know that they make a lot of money touring, but for some reason things aren't necessarily testing out good. They're not seeing the response that they were hoping to see in order for them to put more money behind her. And I don't know why I feel like Cardi B is afraid now. Not just afraid about the reception of people receiving her music because she wants people to like her, but there's a real fear about the behind the scenes, about the business, especially now that Takeoff has been killed, because they're both affiliated. Her, Offset, all of the Migos are affiliated with the same people behind the scenes. I would like to say that she had early business dealings with the Migos label, or the Migos label head. All right. Takeoff, would you mind showing me Offset's energy surrounding your death? Would you mind showing me Offset's energy surrounding your death? His thoughts, his opinions, his feelings. Show me Offset. Show me Offset. Show me Offset. Two of Pentacles. Three of Wands. Two of Swords. Very interesting. Very interesting. Here's the Queen of Cups again on the bottom. I ask about Offset and I see money. I see the Hanged Man. I see a need for resources. What just flew out at me? Seven of Wands on the bottom. Seven of Swords reversed. Cardi here. The label. I get a lot of twos. I got all the twos except for Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords, Two of Cups. Only thing missing is the Two of Wands. Which is in reverse. Somewhere in the deck, except it would come out. It would come out reverse. Okay. Offset's energy is now trying to figure out another two, the Lovers in reverse. Offset definitely wanted to do a group project with his wife. I also feel like what I am surprised that I didn't see was any cards of I didn't see a lot of cups. I expected to see a lot of pain. Three of Swords, Ten of Cups reverse, Five of Cups, grief. I didn't see a lot of grief. I immediately saw the Two of Pentacles, renegotiating. Let me see Offset. What is Offset's energy surrounding Takeoff's death? Same thing, Two of Pentacles, y'all. On the bottom, I see them wanting to know who did it. I do see Cardi B and Offset on the bottom, both being the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. I do see Offset carrying a burden, feeling like the outsider ever since things went left originally with them. After the big fight, I see Offset getting an opportunity or starting projects that continue to cause rifts in the group and made him feel like an outsider, which again, I believe is the projects that he started doing outside Amigos with his wife. It made him feel like an outsider amongst the group, and they continued to fight after that. After his relationship with Cardi started interfering with Migos' business, he had been feeling like an outsider and carrying a lot of burden on him since then. I don't know if, okay, well, I do see them trying to figure out who did this. But I also feel like they know, or they have an idea. I think that they know that it was orchestrated because Takeoff was unprotected and by himself, so that a person could have the opportunity to do it. I believe that Offset knows that it was set up that way. I believe that Offset has a kind of a good idea that it might have been label orchestrated. I see people speaking out to the media, really confused the situation. That night, whoever got online, I still see those girls who got online to speak out about what happened that night. They spoke out online, but either they didn't tell the police that or they lied to the police. But they were saying things to confuse the situation, not telling truths to influence the narrative to the public, to the media. But Offset knows that behind the scenes, the things that were said to the media isn't the truth behind the scenes, which is why he knows behind the scenes that this was orchestrated. He knows that the security wasn't there because they were told to leave him in the open. Okay, he does know. He does know that it didn't happen the way people said it happened. I don't think that they have someone in custody, and if they do have someone in custody, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think people really believe in the person who they're trying to say has something to do with this. I honestly don't believe that it's who people say they said did this. I believe people are saying that it's someone named Jay Prince and his family. And I honestly don't feel like, I think that that was put out there purposely on social media, because that was the story that came out. But behind the scenes, I think that they know that that's not who did this. I think that that is a narrative that was purposely put out there. All right. And I'm just going to ask to see Quavo's energy surrounding the death as well, since I asked to see Takeoff. And then I'll ask for a final word, and then I'll let this go. May I see Quavo's energy surrounding Takeoff's death and around the circumstances surround the death? Quavo, the third group member. Speak to me about Quavo. Two of Cups in reverse. Quavo's heart is broken. He and Takeoff obviously were closest. Ironically, when I asked about Takeoff, I got to all the twos, including this one, but it was upright. And for Quavo, I got another two. Two of Cups in reverse. His family. Quavo feels like he lost a brother, he lost a relative, and he too would like to know who exactly is responsible for it. Whoever they said did it, they don't believe that person. I don't think either one of them feel like it's that person. However, well, here's the two that I didn't get for Takeoff. The two of Wands. I think that Quavo suspects Offset and Takeoff. I mean, Offset and Cardi B. Because here I have this King and Queen of Swords. And Cardi is an air sign. And I feel like from Quavo's perspective, Offset has aligned himself, mind, body, and soul with his wife. They make the same decisions as each other. And I feel like he feels like Offset doesn't really feel remorse. King of Swords. He doesn't really feel the things that he says he feels, because he feels like he's more aligned with Cardi than he was Takeoff. I think of all the suspected people, for some reason, I'm just going to say for some reason, I believe Quavo his energy is very, very much more loud to me than Takeoff's was. I had a difficult time reading Takeoff, but Quavo seems very adamant. Maybe because he started off with his emotion. Ten of Cups reverse, Judgment, Strength in reverse. His emotions are all over the place. But I also see with him the element of being unprotected. Shouldn't have been there without protection. So there's security. I think that that night it was noticeable that their security was MIA, or whomever was supposed to be protecting them. There is something in here about protection and not being protected, security and the lack of security. I just flew out. Knight of Wands, King of Swords, Page of Wands in reverse. I think that maybe Quavo feels like the hit was for him. And I think that that's where a lot of his remorse, his grief comes from. I think that he feels like nobody would have tried to take off but me. Yeah. The Temperance reverse comes out every time I pull cards. Temperance is a Sagittarius card. I do believe that Quavo feels like the hit was for him. I see something about him going solo. His attempt to go solo in here. And there was possibly some jealousy. I think that maybe he feels like Offset was unhappy about his attempt to go solo originally. So somebody was offered a solo situation. this all has to do with money. I see solo deals. I see people coming in between the group, offering one group member a solo deal. I see a really good lucrative offer being turned down. I see ties to a label and a greedy, power-hungry label head. Making plans to release music. All right, so since this is Quavo, I see his situation with Sweetie. His situation with Sweetie was supposed to kind of be what Offset's situation was with Cardi B. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. Let me just be quiet a second so I can get this story together, because all I'm seeing is bits and pieces. There was so much fighting in this group, though, between the egos, between the women that they were supposed to have power couple situations with. One worked out. The Offset and Cardi, that worked out. Quavo and Sweetie didn't work out. However, the business, though, all right. There was plans for, there was a plan. I don't know if they had to contractually release one more album together as a group. There was a plan to do something together, or not a plan, but they had to do something together. The Three of Wands, the plan was already made. They had another, I think they had another project to do together contractually, but Takeoff was killed. They were trying to get out of some contract. They started reviewing their contract a long time ago. Money wasn't right. They had another thing that they were supposed to do together. Lawyers got involved. I think put Offset up on game. He might have decided to switch teams or something like that. And somebody or something was trying to keep him from switching teams. And I'll just say that. I'm sorry, I can't pinpoint exactly which one of these scenarios exactly led to that night. However, I do see that their business dealings between Migos and their contracts, and them trying to get out of contractual obligations they had with whomever signed them, led to Takeoff's death. I don't know why Quavo feels like Takeoff is responsible. This just came out. This is money that wasn't evenly distributed, or the money wasn't right. Somebody wanted more. Possibly because of their high-profile relationship. I felt like he might have, maybe Offset felt like because of his relationship with Cardi, he is the draw in the group, therefore possibly deserving more. Maybe Quavo, I believe people thought he was the Beyonce of the group, so I don't know if he felt like he should have got more. And then when his situation changed, he wasn't with Sweetie anymore. He wasn't the Beyonce of the group anymore. It was leaning more towards Takeoff because of his affiliation with Cardi. I think that maybe he felt like he should have gotten more. I think that the rift was really between Offset and Takeoff. Offset and Quavo. All right. I'm going to wrap this up because I've been here for a long time. Takeoff. What do you have to say about your death and demise that has not already been seen, said by myself here today? Final words about your death, your demise, and the circumstances surrounding it. Because I get the impression that you were the sacrifice. And I say that because you weren't one who was going to put the industry. You didn't really care about being in the industry, to be honest. Takeoff and Offset are still very lucrative. So there's more money to be made from Takeoff and Offset than there is to be made from Takeoff individually. Offset and Quavo are still more marketable than Takeoff was because he wasn't interested in doing the industry. He wasn't interested in a solo career. I think he was fine doing Migos or nothing at all. And that possibly tied them up. Just their contracts as a group tied them up. And they really couldn't come to certain agreements that would allow them to be profitable to other people while they were in a group, unless they remained a group and was only profitable to the one who signed them as a group. And it has something to do with their contract and their contractual obligations to their label head. All right, Takeoff, closing words. They wanted out of their contract. All of them. And I feel like Takeoff they wanted to leave their label. They weren't happy with the contracts at their label. Again, their label. I think that their label, or somebody's label, made the decision to set up this scenario that night so that somebody could be hit. That was a label decision. That was a label decision. His death was a label decision. Not a street beef decision. Not a Texas versus Atlanta situation. This was a label. Now, who the label decided to get to do it, you know what it reminds me of? The Tupac assassination. How that fight broke out that night. I want to say at the MGM Grand or wherever they were. And they used that as an excuse. They said a fight broke out, and then whoever Tupac was fighting came back and shot up his car. But it was the same situation, that it was a setup. That whole night was a setup. Tupac being there and the fight breaking out there was a setup. And even the people who he was fighting were set up, you know, to take him out under the guise of retaliation. But that was a label hit. It was just like the Tupac situation. That's the best way I could describe this, and I think I will title the video as that. Again, the label hit. Again, I see a loss of money. I see them needing them to hang in there together and put out another project. I don't think Offset wanted to put out their final project together. Somebody didn't want to go through with whatever obligations they had to. Negotiation or reprioritization. What is this? You guys, I want to say that somebody within the group is a little bit performative. I hear that somebody acted as if they didn't know, and here's my sacrifice again at the bottom. I'm going to say that somebody in the group knew, possibly was involved. This benefited them. This benefited a specific person in the group. Now they don't have to fulfill their contractual obligations as a group, and now they can go ahead and move forward in their career and switch labels if necessary, because they no longer have to put out the projects that they had to put out before. They are free to accept other offers now without having to fight their other group members. Again, my sacrifice and my death card. I'm not going to say who though, but I will say that I think that one group members' concerns about another group member's behavior, it could possibly be warranted, because this situation benefits a specific group member who is now able to go and do things with another major label and take major deals that the Migos would never have gotten, especially signed to their current label. And I think Takeoff's message, Takeoff, what is your message? What is your final message before I speak for you? What is your final message? This is a Sagittarius card, and it's in reverse, and I keep pulling it. Takeoff's final message on the bottom, a fire sign card, Sagittarius in reverse. Offset, allegedly. Takeoff's final message is for Offset. I hear, and this is alleged, my goodness, I hate saying this, but I hear, I hope you got what you wanted. Takeoff's final message is to a fire sign male. This is my Sagittarius card. This is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So guys, I'm only saying that because that's what the cards are saying. I only know of one fire sign in the group who happens to be a Sagittarius, I believe. I'm only asking for final words from Takeoff. It just fell out. This fell out. See, this person is stabbed in the back. And they're wearing that cloak of red, a sacrifice. There's my hangman, my sacrifice again. I get the message that a fire sign male, Takeoff would like this fire sign male to know that you know, I hope you got what you wanted now that you're able to go and do the things that you wanted to do without having to defend your position anymore, without having to fight all of us. Your brothers, your family, the ones who you started this thing with. Because they were definitely keeping him from being able to release new music and be as successful as he wanted to be. Because they weren't really making money together as a group. And there was a lot of infighting with them about how to get out of their bad contract that didn't allow them to make money. They were stuck. Or someone in particular was stuck and felt like being together in this group was keeping them from being successful and making money. So somebody wanted to leave Migos more than everybody else. I think Offset was okay with doing solo projects as long as the group stayed together. But someone else wanted to leave the group entirely and not be associated with them anymore, at least for a long time, because they felt like they had other opportunities in their new partnership and their new alignment with the female artist from another label, a major female artist that could take them places that the group would not. It would make their stock rise. So I felt like he felt like the contract should have either gotten out or they had to find another label, another team where their contract could be negotiated in their favor. Because they were the bigger draw now because of their relationship with a female artist who was a lot bigger than the Migos themselves. Relationship card. Death. Look, Cardi B on the bottom. And a label, Takeoff, Recoup. All right, you guys. So this has been going on for almost 2 hours, but this is the sacrifice you make when you channel the dead. So in closing, I would like to say that let me dismiss Takeoff. Takeoff, thank you for your energy. Thank you for your time. Thank you for speaking on behalf of yourself and letting us know what happened to you on the night that you passed away and the circumstances regarding it. May you now go in peace. May you now go in peace. May you now go in peace. Okay. This was a story all about how the industry claimed lives when greed sets in, when infighting sets in, when bad contracts sets in, when the need to make sacrifices sets in. This ain't just no Illuminati type of stuff. There's a spiritual aspect behind it as well, because spiritual work is always in play in the world and in the industry. Even one of the artists, the people involved in this situation, practices spiritual work. But it's deeper than just, oh, let me sacrifice this person as a blood sacrifice so my career takes off. This is a sacrifice on every level for the business, for the greater good of one or two people within the situation, for label heads who collect on these artists once they die, for interested parties. This is a story about a sacrifice. This is a story about Tupac all over again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It was for entertainment purposes. I know my reading was a little bit choppy because I could see certain scenarios and certain things, but making it flow smoothly. I feel like I didn't do a good job at that, but I just had to get it out as I saw it without taking up a lot of time. And I'm a little bit tired now because it's been almost 2 hours. So you guys, I hope you enjoy it. This was all alleged. There was no fact. This is all story time with Adina and some cards. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this hypothetical story about Takeoff and the circumstances surrounding his death and the people involved in his death allegedly. And enjoy and have a good day.